How's everybody doing today? Okay, good, good, good. Well, for you guys, it's the end of another week. Remember, you don't have school tomorrow. Today is the last day after school if you want to go ahead and retake either the exam or the geometric sequences and series quiz from last week. This entire week, we've been focused on the internal assessment, so hopefully over the past couple of days, I was able to help you folks out, point you in the right direction. Remember, when it comes down to it, though, it is your project. You're making the decisions. You're going to do what you feel is best. Remember, I'm kind of more just an advisor. But it is due on Monday, March 8th. So as of right now, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, probably about 5.5 weeks before that comes due. It's going to be recorded as an exam grade, and it's also going to be worth 20% of your IB grade. So we definitely want to make sure we're taking a look at that. All right, so any questions? All right. Well, we haven't done anything but the IA for the past 3 days, so we finally, and I know you're excited about it too, can get back to some lessons. We're going to talk about currency conversion today. We'll finish that up on Monday. The assignment will be due Tuesday. I have a quiz over this on Wednesday. And then right after that, we're just going to continue with compound and simple interest. Do you remember those kind of problems where Bob is going to invest $2,000 at 6% interest compounded annually for yada yada? You remember those types of problems? That's exactly what we're going to be looking at. Okay, and then after that, we have a little bit review unit, linear functions, quadratics, and then we can finally get into some trig. So we got a lot of good stuff coming up. See, Zuzu's excited. Okay, saw from her eyebrows. She was all, yay. Okay, but just so we're all on the same page, here's the information for next week, starting February 1st of 2021. Can you believe we're already a month into 2021? Feels like 2020 all over again. Okay. But 125 to 129 currency conversion. Here is what we're looking at. This is the set of notes that we're going to have. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and get to it. All right. Let me move this over here so that I can keep tabs if anybody has a question virtually. All right, so currency. Most currencies in the modern world are decimalized, which means that their basic unit, dollar, pound, kroner, etc., can be divided into smaller parts, the cent, penny, or etc., which are generally 1/100th of the main unit. This was not always the case. During the Roman Empire, the main unit of currency was the pound, which was divided into 20 shillings. Each shilling was then worth 12 pennies, originally denarii. This type of system made calculations extremely difficult. So exchange rates. When you're in a foreign country, you got to use the currency of that country, which that makes sense. This means that you must exchange your money for the equivalent amount of local currency. Exchange rates show the relationship between the values of currencies. They're published in daily newspapers, among other places, and they really change constantly. So this data that we're about to go ahead and take a look at, this is from December of 2017. So guaranteed it's changed since then. In fact, it probably changed a day or two after I went ahead and did this. There's really no need for me to go ahead and keep current on this because this whole lesson can be broken down into one word: proportions. Okay, setting one ratio equal to another. So here is a list of values, and this is on your notes. If you want to go ahead and copy that down, you're more than welcome to. I don't think there's a reason to do that. Any problems that I'm going to go ahead and give you, like on a quiz or a test, you will have to have these memorized, though. Okay. Macy looked at me really fast. You know I'm kidding about that, right?
Yes.
Okay.
But I was like...
Everybody at home knows I'm kidding about that. You do not have to have this table memorized, okay? But what IB is going to do, and I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing, any question that involves currency exchange, you're either going to be given a table to choose values from, or you'll just be given the ratio. Okay, so you should be good to go on that. So, for example, the very first row we have here is the Australian dollar. Okay, so what we're saying here is that one US dollar is worth 1.33095 Australian dollars. So you remember a second ago I said the word proportion So let's say I want to go ahead and convert US dollars into Australian dollars. Well, I'm going to go ahead and take the main ratio, getting from this table here. 1 US dollar is worth 1.33095 Australian dollars. And then let's say I want to go ahead and convert, I don't know, $200. 200 US dollars, and that's going to be X Australian dollars. So basically it's just a matter of setting up two ratios, setting them equal to each other, and then cross multiply. Okay. But this particular table also works in reverse. So this is what an Australian dollar would be worth in America, roughly 75 cents. Okay. And you can kind of look through here. Now remember, again, this is the end of 2017. A lot has happened in the world since then, so definitely these are not accurate anymore. But I think you get the basic idea. Let's just go ahead and work some problems here. Okay. First example, how many British pounds could be purchased for $560? An easy way to make conversions is to use proportions, just like I was talking about. So 1 US dollar, what I'm looking for is British pounds. So I'm going to come back up here in the table. Okay. What value am I looking for? British pounds. So 1 US dollar is 0.74673 British pounds. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and say 0.74673. Okay. So 0.74673. And then we're trying to find how many Great British pounds is going to be 560 US dollars. Is everybody okay with how I set up the ratio? Okay. Now you'll notice here they went ahead and flipped it, and that's actually perfectly fine. Personally, I just always go ahead and start with the US or whatever it is that I'm converting, and the denominator becomes what I'm going to go ahead and find. It just comes from fractional operations. If I were to have a ratio like A over B is equal to C over D, then the same proportion can be created by saying B divided by A is equal to D divided by C. As long as I keep the ratios in the same, comparing one to the other. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay. So this right here, don't let that bother you. All right. So we solve a proportion by cross multiplying. Okay. So 1 times X is X equals. So what I want to go ahead and do here is multiply the 0.74673. And we'll definitely need our calculators today. So I got those on the desks. Okay. So 0.74673. And I believe we are converting 560 US dollars. Yes. Okay. So that should end up being about 418, I'm going to say 0.17 Great British pounds. Now, I'm going to be completely transparent with this. As far as breaking up the smaller denominations of currency in other countries, I don't know about how they do that. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and round these to decimal places. You might be asked to do that. They might go ahead and ask you to round to the nearest whole number. There's all different kinds of ways, but the strategy is what we really need to focus on. Okay, so I'd say about 418.17. Okay, I don't know why I put that there. 418.17 Great British pounds. Okay, all right. And then it says approximately, so I guess 418. I was never really sure what they want me to go ahead and put there. Okay. Anyway. You know what? I think I filled in those blanks wrong. That's okay. We have the idea. All right, let's go ahead and move on. This is one of those lessons that doesn't take very long. It's just at the end when we start talking about buy and sell rates and commissions, that has a little more algebra that we need to take care of. But let's see what we got here. The following shows pictures of some common currencies used in the world. Okay, so here we have a euro note. So $1 is approximately blank euro. Okay, so what we want to go ahead and do is set up a proportion. So I'm going to go ahead and say 1 US dollar. Oh, well, let's go ahead and fill in this blank first. So we're looking for euro. Okay. So 1 US dollar is worth how many euros? 0.84932. So let me go ahead and copy that here. 0.84932. Was it 932?
93.2.
93.2. Okay, that's it. Normally, when I teach this lesson, you know, I have the skeleton notes, and I always have this printed out for my students, so people can just take a look at it. Unfortunately, you know, today is very unusual time, so I'm going to have to kind of keep going back and forth, because like I said, I don't have that memorized. So how many US dollars is this €5 note worth? So I'm going to set up a ratio. So 1 US dollar, okay, is worth 0.84932 euro. And I'm going to set that equal to, okay. How am I going to set the other ratio? What am I trying to find? US dollars or euros?
US dollars.
US dollars. So I'm going to put X US dollars. That's what we're trying to find. And then we have €5. Now this one isn't as easy as the previous one. When I cross multiply, I'm not going to immediately get the answer, and that's perfectly fine. I'm going to go ahead and end up with the fact that 0.84932x is equal to 5. Okay, and now I want to go ahead and divide through to go ahead and figure out how many US dollars is this £5 note. I think it's a pound. Okay, I don't want to say that wrong in case somebody from another nation watches this video one day. Okay, so 0.84932 times 5. How many US dollars am I talking about?
Wait.
What? Oh, see, I hesitated because I was just seeing if you were paying attention. 0.84932. So what's 5 divided by 0.84932?
That's 8.7.
Okay. So $5 and let's say 89 cents is going to be roughly equivalent to the £5 note or €5 note that we have. About $5.89. Okay. So that's why I like this lesson, and I like these types of questions to show up on the paper exams. They're very, very straightforward. Okay, there's not a lot involved. Am I going too fast? Is everybody okay? Can I continue at this speed, or would anybody like me to slow down? Okay. All right, well, let's try another one. So the Australian dollar, $1 is approximately, and we saw this just a moment ago, it was 1.33095. 95 Australian dollars. Okay, so how many US dollars is this $10 Australian note worth? All right, so I'm going to set up my ratio. 1 US dollar divided by 1.33095 Australian dollars is equal to, we want to know the number of American dollars, so X USD divided by 10. Everybody okay with how I set that up? Would everybody agree? Ratios are correct. US dollars to Australian, US to Australian. Okay. Cross multiply. So it looks like I'm going to get 1.33095 is equal to, X is equal to 10. Okay. So let's see what we end up with. 10 divided by 1.33095. Okay. So it looks like about $7.51. Okay. Ladies at home, we getting the same values? Good, 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 good. 751. So is this answer just a lesson making sense so far? Is it making sense so far? That's for you, right? Okay. Hey, if you don't like my jokes, maybe later I can change your mind.
Yes.
Yeah. So I've been cooped up all day, and this has probably been one of the most stressful days I've had this year. So it's just nice to actually get up and teach.
Yeah.
You know. So Ryan, you want another joke? No. You're right. I'll save it for later. Don't want to do them all at once. Okay. So let's go ahead and try one on our own. So Japanese yen. So $1 is approximately, okay, so let's figure out what the exchange rate was back in December of 2017. So I'm looking for JPY, the Japanese yen. So if I come on over here, all right, Japanese yen, the JPY. So $1 was 113.45 yen. Okay. So 113.45 yen. Okay. So how many US dollars is this 1,000 Japanese yen note worth? Okay, so I want you to try this one on your own. Okay. How many US dollars is this 1,000 Japanese yen note?
Can you see that?
Yeah, let me write you a pass. Okay, senior, right?
Yes.
Yeah. 28, 2021, 325, from room 2204 west. There you go. Okay. So let's have someone virtually. What should my proportion look like? Okay, one of you ladies tell me what to write.
So the proportion should be 1 US dollars over like the 113.45 JPY,
Okay.
and then equals the US dollars over 1,000 JPY.
Okay. All right. And what should I get as an answer? Who here can tell me? Okay. What do you think, Don? There you go. About $8.81. If I go ahead and cross multiply, 113.45x is equal to 1,000. Okay. And then we just need to do a little bit of division. 1,000 divided by 113.45. About $8.81. There we go. All right. Okay. Let's go with another one. British pound, the $1 is approximately blank GBP. Okay, so GBP, the Great British Pound. Okay, so 0.74673. I see that right in the table right here. 0.74673. Okay. How many US dollars is this 5 British pound note worth? Okay, what's my proportion?
Apparently the water is
Oh, it is? Oh.
not the whole school.
No.
What?
What are we going to do?
I need to go later.
I know, I needed to pee.
Casey, why did you put in the water closet?
They didn't have any restroom open? Wow.
I mean, I didn't check the top one, but the bottom ones were not.
Yeah.
Nothing. No.
Oh, that's right. You have your own. Okay.
Yeah. That's okay.
All right. So, what's the denominator here? Okay, 0.74673. Great British pounds equals. Okay, again, we're looking for the number of US dollars. Over what? Great So once again, cross multiply. So it looks like I'm going to be taking 5 and dividing by the 0.74673. Okay. So let me go ahead and document B out of there. 5 divided by 0.74. What was it? 74673. Okay. So I'm getting about $6.70. Okay. With the thousands place, that 5 is going to round the 9 up. Okay. So about 670. There you go. That's all there is to this. Okay, that's the majority of it. Is anybody having a hard time? Okay. And then this is just a little fun fact. Fact or fiction? Does the $10,000 note really exist?
No.
It actually did at one point.
There's like 2 of them.
I believe the last printing was in 1945, but they ultimately discontinued it in 1969. And Salmon Chase,
Who's Salmon Chase?
he was the treasurer at the time, and he was responsible for printing the bills. So he,
Salmon Chase.
I don't in the 1800s, maybe.
Really?
I just made that up.
But at one point, that was legal tender, but they discontinued it because the average person's not going to have that much cash for change.
Why would
So if
you
you
name
had
your
those,
tree?
you just lost like
Nah,
10
bro.
grand.
JP
Basically.
Morgan.
I think that there are a few still out there. They're either in the hands of private collectors or they're in some
They're
museums.
probably worth more than 10,000 now.
Yes. Now that they're not printing them anymore, absolutely.
So
Which is really weird when you think about it.
I worked on the thrift shop thing,
What are you saying?
Oh, okay, and I went ahead and had a little more information here.
Salmon.
Solomon. He was the Secretary of the Treasury to President Abraham Lincoln. That alone doesn't make one worthy of adorning a $10,000 bill. He was in charge of the Treasury when the federal government introduced the banknotes, the greenbacks. In 1928, he was honored for the role he played by having his face put on the shiny new $10,000 bill. There are 12 denominations of bills. 7 are still being printed. 1, 2, 5, 10, 20, 50. But the 2, I rarely see that.
I have like 3 of them.
Yeah, oh, do you really?
Yeah.
Very cool. And the 100, of course. There are 5 larger denominations that are no longer being printed. They're among collectors or in museum. 500,000, 5,000, 10,000, and there was a $100,000 bill at one point.
What is legal tender?
That means cash. That means that could be exchanged for goods or services. That means if you were trying to pay a bill with it, technically people could not refuse. Okay. But can you imagine nowadays walking into like a Quick Track or 7-Eleven, buying like 75-cent pack of gum? Here's a $10,000 bill.
That sucks.
Don't think that's going to work out too well.
my grandfather did that once. He had like a fake million.
Oh, really?
The lady actually believed him. And she's like, listen, sir,
What
I
kind
don't,
of
I don't have
person
change.
was
I don't have change
grandpa?
for this.
Wow.
And he's like, listen, lady. You got bamboozled.
Wow. There you go. So a little bit of history in math class. Never knew math class was so much fun, right?
Well,
Absolutely.
It's technically not math, so.
Well, it involves math. History of math.
Yeah.
In a way. All right, commission. It's generally the case that agents who change money between currencies will charge for the service. This is called a commission. There are 2 main ways that they can be charged. A fixed percentage, usually between 0.5 and 3%, is charged on the amount of currency exchanged, for example. Or the other one is buy and sell values, but we'll get back to that in just a second. A bank changes U.S. dollars to other currency at a fixed commission of 1.5%. Max wants to convert 200 Thai baht. Is that how you say that?
Thai
It's
bath?
Thai bath.
It's Thai. Well, I know it B-A-T-H, but I don't think it's actually pronounced baht.
Oh, let me see.
I'm pretty sure it's baht. Or is it baht? I don't know. I don't want to offend
What
anybody.
language is that? That was bath. Or what-
Taiwanese, isn't it?
We're gonna find out here in T-minus.
Are you Googling how to pronounce?
Let me see what is the currency in Thailand? Baht.
Baht. Okay. So I was right. Hey, baht. Cool. All right. Anyways, where was I? 200 Thai baht, where $1 US buys 40.23 Thai baht. Okay, so it's easy enough to set up a proportion, just like we were talking about a moment ago. But remember, we can't forget about the fact that we're being charged for this. So we take the currency that we want to exchange, in this case, the 200 Thai baht, and that's what we're going to go ahead and take the percentage of. So 200 minus 200 times. Now, what do you have to do when you're working with a percentage? Mathematical operations, you have to change it to a decimal. Now, some people are probably saying, but that already has a decimal. But remember, for the true decimal form, we got to move it 2 spaces left. So this would be 0.015. Okay. So see, we're going to go ahead and figure out what 1.5% of 200 is, and then we'll subtract that off 200. Is everybody okay? Okay. So let's see what we got here. 200 minus 200, 0.015. Okay. 197 Thai baht. So it looks like they're charging 3 Thai baht for that service. Okay. All right. What commission is charged? So 3 baht. Okay. And that's going to give us 197 Thai baht. So what's the customer receive? So this is where we want to go ahead and create my proportion. So like I said a little while ago, either a table or the actual conversion is going to be given to you. We have our ratio here. So $1 US, okay, is going to purchase 40.23 Thai baht. Okay, and I think that's TBH. Let me check this over here. THB. Okay, there we go. All right, so THB.
Oh wait, that is misspelled. The H and the T are supposed to be flipped.
Supposed to be B8.
Yeah, D.
Oh, did I accidentally switch that after that?
No, because look at the bottom. It says Thai baht.
Oh, baby.
On the left, where it says like Thai baht.
Oh, it does. Okay. Is it actually spelled that way? I actually don't know. I'm not sure. Is it BATH or BAHT?
It's that.
So it is BAHT?
Yeah, so
Oh, okay.
It's not about bats.
Okay. So if there is anybody who happens to watch this and is living in another country or another nationality, Mr. West does his best to be woke. So please don't take offense at any of this. Okay. I like your drip wherever you are. Okay.
Oh my god.
What am I doing? Okay. THB. Let's get back to math.
Wherever you are.
Okay, wherever you are. Wherever in the world you are watching this video, day or night.
Put that
I
on
like it.
Okay. And what's this other ratio going to be?
200 US.
And then we have X, THB. Okay. So see, we're going to convert $200 to Thai baht. So this time here, a simple product is going to give me the value I'm looking for. We don't have to cross multiply and divide. So 200 times 40.23, 200 times 40.23, and we're going to get ourselves, let's see if there's any decimals that follow that, 8,046 Thai baht. There we go. Now there is one other way that you could do this. You could go ahead and perform the proportion first, but then you have to make sure once you get your answer to do what?
There on the one you filled out,
Uh-huh.
it's something different.
It is? What do I get?
7,925.31.
You have to subtract the 1.5%, right?
Oh, okay. You see what I did in the problem? Okay, here's the problem. I accidentally set up my proportion wrong. Now, the way this proportion is set up, if that were correct, then my answer is correct. I'm glad Mason you pointed this out. See, we're being charged for this, so we're not actually converting 200. We're actually converting 197 because we had to pay for the service.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? That's where that particular value is going to come from. So now 197 So 197 times, what was it, 40.23? There we go, 7925.31. 7925.31 THB. There we go. Okay. I apologize for that. That's my fault. I made sure to go ahead and point out the commission, and then I completely forgot to remove the commission. All right. How are we doing?
Great.
Okay. All right, so commissions are one way that this can be handled, or the other way, it could be buy and sell values. Banks or agencies may use a buy at rate or a sell at rate to be able to charge commission for the exchange of currency. Remember, the bank is always going to get the best deal because the bank, it is a business. It wants to go ahead and try to make money using money that you go ahead and invest in there, whether it's a savings account or whatever the case is. And then they can also loan that money out, and there's all different kinds of ways that happens. So the sell rate, the bank sells you foreign currency at this rate. It's always the lower rate because the bank doesn't want to give you as much money for every 1 unit of currency you're exchanging. For example, you're going on a trip to Europe, you go to the bank and the bank sells you mini euro for each dollar that you're going to exchange. Buy rate, the bank buys back the foreign currency at this rate. It's always the higher rate because the bank wants to get the most foreign currency for every 1 unit of currency you'll be getting back. So you return from your trip from Europe and you have leftover euros and you want to exchange those back to dollars. The bank will buy them back, but at the buy rate. So you're going to get less money back than what you normally would. Okay. So let's try an example. And actually, how close are we? I think we're actually getting pretty close. Yeah, this is it right here. Okay. Did you guys want to go ahead and wrap this up, or did you want to go ahead and wait to finish this on Monday? Because we're actually almost done. Dylan, what do you think?
I think so, man.
You want to say Monday? Okay.
Yes.
Did anybody else want to go ahead and try this one, or if you want to try it, see if you can get the right answer? Okay. Because we only have these 3 problems left, and then we're done. So I think what we'll go ahead and do, let me at least go ahead and set this up. So that way when we come in on Monday, we can just go ahead and pick up from there, finish it, and give you some time in class to go ahead and work on the assignment. Okay, but where was the assignment due? Assignments due Tuesday, and then we'll have a quiz on this on Wednesday of next week. Okay. So let's see what we have here. A currency exchange service exchanges 1 euro for Japanese yen. Buy at 135.69, and we're going to sell it at 132.08. Cedric wishes to exchange 800 euro for yen. Okay. How many yen will he receive? Okay, so how do I do this? Okay, we're exchanging what for what?
A euro for yen.
Okay, euro for yen. So let's go ahead and set up my proportion based on that. And I think, is it YEN? Or is there some other? I just want to make sure. Or is this JPY? This is JPY, okay. Want to make sure I'm culturally correct. JPY, okay. So we know that 1 euro, now here's the thing, what are we going to use here? Are we going to go ahead and use the buy rate or the sell rate? Okay. So we're going to go ahead and put in, okay. The way these problems make sense for me, always look at it from the bank's perspective. So if you're looking to exchange this, the bank is going to sell you that currency. But the bank buys it back when you're going to convert it back. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is everybody good? And remember, it also makes sense if the bank did go ahead and sell it to you at 135.69, they're selling it at the higher rate, which is giving you more money, which is costing them money. And that's one thing the bank doesn't want to do. Okay, so equals. Now, what are we doing here?
we have to exchange euro for yen. So
800 euro. Okay, and that's going to give me X Japanese yen. There we go. So this one here is just a simple cross product. We don't have to divide. So how many Japanese yen am I looking at here?
105 or 105.66.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and put that in the calculator. May document be at here. So what was it? 800 times 132. What was the 132 decimal? Point what? Oh, 8?
Oh, wait.
Okay. There we go. So I'm getting 105,664 yen. Okay. Make sure there's no decimals following that. Okay, so 105,664. 105,664 JPY. Okay. And now you can go ahead and take a look at this over the next 3 days if you want to. We'll come on in, go ahead and wrap that up, and then we'll go ahead and just go on from there. Okay. But is anybody having trouble with this lesson? Any issues? Everybody at home good? Okay. All right, well, let's go ahead and stop there.